Good morning, students. Welcome to the class on rearrangements. We were discussing Wagner-Merwin rearrangements. Today we will see some more problems on Wagner-Merwin rearrangement. It is called camphene hydrochloride. Camphene hydrochloride, when treated with tin tetrachloride, it is converted to isobornyl chloride. Of course, you know the mechanism, right? So tin tetrachloride is a Lewis acid which will polarize this chloride ion. So we will have a carbocation here. The anti-periplanar bond migrates here so that it will rearrange to isobornyl chloride. So I don't discuss the mechanism here. When we have an aromatic system adjacent to a carbocation, when it is activated with a Lewis acid, it will generate a carbocation center, and this carbocation center can directly interact with the aromatic ring. So this double bond will polarize and will form a three-membered ring. And this is the carbocation which we are generating. It is called bridged phenonium ion. This carbocation, this is just primary carbocation only, but this carbocation is stabilized by resonance, right? So after this, then again, of course, in this case, the aromaticity is lost. So to regain the aromaticity, this phenonium ion, again, the three-membered ring, which is highly strained ring, will break down to generate the aromatic nature again. So this will break down to generate the aromatic nature. So that now what will happen? This is the new double bond generated now. And here the bond breaking takes place next to the dimethyl carbon, right? So what we are getting? We are getting a tertiary carbocation. What we are getting? We are getting a tertiary carbocation. And finally, a hydrogen proton loss from this carbon will occur, so that generates a double bond. So this is the product, right? So when we have aromatic systems will also involve in interaction with the carbocation, so that will lead to rearrangements, so that we will get this product. When we want to do a dehydration reaction on cyclohexanol, under acidic conditions, we must understand how the dehydration process will occur. We always use a chair transition state to explain the reactivity of cyclohexane, substituted cyclohexane. When it is treated with H plus, obviously we will generate a protonated alcohol. Now this is more stable, of course, because it is at equatorial position, right? But when you want to do a dehydration reaction, we must remove a hydrogen from the next carbon. When we want to do that, as I said earlier, it should be anti-periplanar. It should be anti-periplanar. When we want to remove hydrogen from here, it is not anti-periplanar, right? So then how the dehydration occurs on cyclohexanol? Of course, it is more stable, but it is always involved in a equilibrium with a less stable isomer also. This is less stable, this is more stable, but there is always an equilibrium between less stable and more stable isomer. So in this case, we can clearly say that this hydrogen is anti-periplanar, right? So hydrogen is anti-periplanar to leaving group, so that here loss of hydrogen takes place easily, so that we will get an alkene. So this is how we do dehydration on cyclohexanes. That means the leaving group should be anti-periplanar, or the rearrangements must occur between anti-periplanar groups. Now, with this knowledge, we can explain another problem. When we treat this molecule under acidic conditions, it is generating a product with the ring contraction. Of course, here also it should be the trans ring fusion. So it is generating a product with the ring contraction. Now, how do we explain this product formation? To explain this product formation, we need to take chair conformations and then see how it is happening. Of course, we don't need to represent the hydrogen here. Okay, for the first time I am representing it, but next time I don't represent. Then we have a dimethyl groups here. Then we have OH here. Of course, whether it is axial or equatorial, it doesn't matter for us, right? Equatorial is more stable, axial is less stable. So go for more stable product. When it is treated under acidic conditions, methyl group, another methyl group, go for more stable product, it is protonated. Now, in this case, the anti-periplanar bond, that means which is parallel to this bond, is this one, right? See, these two are parallel to each other. These two are parallel to each other. So this is the anti-periplanar bond, so that when this water molecule is leaving, this alkyl group will migrate. This alkyl group will rearrange. Okay, when this water molecule is leaving, we will be generating a carbocation here. Because this bond is anti-periplanar, this alkyl group will migrate. Previously it is 6-membered ring. Now because this bond is breaking and migrating, now it becomes 5-membered ring. And of course, we have generated a tertiary carbocation. Of course, this tertiary carbocation will undergo alkene formation by loss of proton from adjacent carbon, right? So that means when you want to explain the leaving nature, leaving group nature or rearrangements in a cyclohexane, substituted cyclohexanes, we must always use a anti-periplanar alkyl group or anti-periplanar substituent. In this example, when it is treated with concentrated H2SO4, this undergoes Wagner-Merwin rearrangement and generates this product. So all other substituents are same. What happens here is when it is treated with sulfuric acid, this alkene will be protonated. So we are generating a secondary carbocation here. And of course, we have a methyl group at the next position. So it will undergo 1,2 methyl shift so that it generates isopropyl group here and a carbocation here. So initially it is secondary carbocation. Now it is tertiary carbocation, which is more stable. Then this tertiary carbocation involves in resonance with this double bond. So this double bond will migrate here and we generate a carbocation here. So the loss of proton from this center will generate this double bond. You practice all these mechanisms. Okay, I'll explain one or two mechanisms, but when you practice each and every reaction with the mechanism, then we can easily learn the subject. Now we will discuss two examples for cascade or domino Wagner-Merwin rearrangements. Six-member ring fusion, it is always stable in trans configuration. So all the groups are well placed on this molecule. When this molecule is treated with Lewis acid, what is happening is OAC is an electron-rich system of oxygen. So Lewis acid will attack on OAC, oxygen. So OAC will be leaving. It is a good leaving group, OAC. Then when this group is leaving, see, if it leaves, it doesn't have any anti-periplanar. But when it is leaving, okay, see, this hydrogen is exactly anti-periplanar because it is trans system, right? Then you look at these two hydrogens. This hydrogen is anti-periplanar to this. Now look at this hydrogen. This is above the plane, this is below the plane. So this is anti-periplanar to this hydrogen. Now look at this hydrogen. This is anti-periplanar to this hydrogen because it is below the plane. Now this methyl group is above the plane. Now it is anti-periplanar to this plane. So that means once it is leaving, then this hydrogen will migrate here, 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 this methyl group will migrate here. So this is the best example for cascade or domino Wagner-Merwin rearrangements. Now I'll write the product. So this is OAC. Now when this OAC is leaving, this hydrogen will migrate here. Because this hydrogen is above the plane, it will migrate from above the plane only. So that is why the configuration, this is methyl group. This is methyl group. So this will become methyl group. Now, when this methyl group is migrated, we will generate a carbocation here. This hydrogen is anti-periplanar, so this hydrogen will migrate here. This hydrogen is below the plane, so obviously it migrates from below the plane only. So that is why the configuration here is below the plane. When this is migrating, this anti-periplanar hydrogen now will migrate to this position. It is above the plane, so even after migration also it will be above the plane. Similarly, the hydrogen which is below the plane, even after migrates, it will be below the plane. And this methyl group which is above the plane, after migration, again it will be above the plane only. Now, loss of proton. This is the tertiary carbocation. We have a proton here. Loss of proton will generate a double bond here. Of course, other substituents will be there. Okay. So this is the best example for domino or cascade Wagner-Merwin rearrangements, where a 1,2 alkyl methyl shift triggers a series of 1,2 hydride, 1,2 hydride, 1,2 hydride, 1,2 methyl, 1,2 rearrangements. I'll give you one more example for cascade type reactions. Cascade are what we call tandem. So we know these words, right? We learned tandem Diels-Alder reactions or cascade Diels-Alder reactions. When this alcohol, which is having spiro systems on each carbon of the cyclohexane, is treated with thionyl chloride and pyridine. Thionyl chloride reacts, alcohol easily reacts with the sulfur atom. So alcohol will be activated and it will be leaving. So we are generating a carbocation here. Now this carbocation is just next to the four-membered ring. Four-membered ring is having high strain energy. So whenever there is a possibility to relieve the strain, it will immediately migrates and relieve the strain. So here, what will happen? Ring expansion takes place. For example, if this alkyl group is above the plane, then opposite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this alkyl group, this four-membered ring will undergo ring expansion to this center. So it becomes five-membered. Now we have a carbocation here, right? And again there is an adjacent four-membered ring. So immediately this will also undergo a 1,2 alkyl shift to relieve the strain here. Similarly, all the rings, when it is generating carbocation here, this ring will migrate here. So we will have a ring expansion. Now a carbocation generates here, then this alkyl group will migrate here. Similarly, here now we will generate a carbocation here. So this alkyl group will migrate here. Now we have generated a carbocation here which is satisfied with the chloride released from thionyl chloride. So these two are the best example for cascade Wagner-Merwin rearrangements.